Welcome back. This is Ryan, and I'm going to be taking you guys on the long route today. I got a little bit of rain, maybe some clouds there. We're just going to simulate that we're not going to be able to get up through Sheep Creek on the short route, so we're going to have to stay in the channel and go all the way around the Taku Inlet, following the coastline, and then up the glacier to Dog Camp. We're ready to go here. We're on pad 4. I'm not going to be going through all the normal procedures you go through before you take a flight or get off the base here, because we already did that in the first video on the short route. So I'm going to go ahead and pick us up here and depart here. It's all the normal procedures as far as this goes. Making a call here on the CTAF that we're departing the Air heliport for downtown. Gonna slide off here to the left and then depart mid-channel. And make our turn here, continue climbing for 1,000 feet by the red and white tower there. So when the weather gets worse here, we want to try to stay as close to 2,000 feet in the channel as we can, while still maintaining all your cloud clearances and all that stuff. Just pick whatever highest altitude you can get there. Again, we're going to stay just right of center until we pass Mayflower Island, which I'll point out, and then we'll kind of work more over the coast on the Douglas side, off to the right there. Very important to note there on these days with lower weather, since it's not just lower weather for you, it's the lower weather for everybody flying in the region. So all the airplanes and all the other helicopters are all going to be now in this little channel instead of up on the hillsides and spread out more. You're all going to be down here in the channel. This is when you really need to be looking and communicating for the traffic, and just be aware of that. Again, full planes are going to be departing downtown here and then also coming into land here. So they're going to be, at a pretty low altitude right here. This is the Juneau Douglas Bridge here. This would be our first call. We would say that we're at the JD Bridge, or the Juneau Douglas Bridge, at 2,000 for Mayflower Island, which is this tiny island right in front of us here. I'll point it out as we get closer to it. It has a little Coast Guard station on it, right next to Sandy Beach. Over here to the left, this is the rock dump. This is where all the, it's where the old mine quarry was and stuff, but this is where the barges come in here and bring all the supplies in for Juneau. You can see it down there. This is Mount Roberts. There's a little tram that goes up and down there, Mount Roberts tram. So this little island is what we were talking about earlier. This is Mayflower. This is the town of Douglas here, so we don't really we want to stay just right of center, but not overflying these houses here. Since we are going to be making more noise, as we are a little closer to them instead of up on the hillside here on the short route. Once we get clear of the houses over Mayflower, then we'll kind of make a little slight right turn here and kind of more up on the coast side on Douglas. So we're over Mayflower now. We make a call that we're Mayflower for Bullion, which we talked about earlier, which is right across from Sheep Creek, right up in here. And we'll start to ease over here on the shore side of Douglas. And we'll maintain 2,000 feet here. There's Sheep Creek, we're familiar with that. Over Bullion here, our next call would probably be for Bullion for Marmion, which is right at the end of the Douglas Island here. So we'd say, channel traffic, 5 errors, Bullion for Marmion at 2,000. There's another reporting point right in between here. It's right about here, which is called Lucky Me. It's a little like bed and breakfast area. So you can report that. Across the channel here, there's a little old dock that comes out here called DuPont Dock, so you'll hear people reporting that. And then again, this ridge line here is Salisbury Ridge, so if you hear that there, you'll know where to look. That's Salisbury Point. Once we get up to the end of Douglas here on Marmion, or to a little island called Marmion Island there, then we'll cut across over Salisbury Ridge and then make our way up the Taku. Now, if you can see the clouds here, look like we'd have clearance to go over Salisbury Ridge. We don't actually have to go all the way up to Marmion Island before we cross. We could cross a little earlier here, still make a 90-degree turn, but then cut over Salisbury Ridge. So we'll go ahead and do that here just to save a little time and still be able to point everything out to you guys. This island over here that you're starting to see is just a little part of the Admiralty Island, which is like the 8th largest island in the U.S. So it's a massive island. So we're right over Lucky Me, which would be right about here. So we'll make a call here that we are Lucky Me crossing the channel for Salisbury at 2,000. We're a little higher than that, but don't pay attention to that. We will have to start climbing up just a tad bit here to get over the ridge. This is a good time to talk about our altitudes going up the Taku Inlet. We have a letter of agreement with the airport that says that going upriver, we will maintain odd altitudes, so 500, 1,500, 2,500. And coming downriver, we'll maintain even altitudes, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. That includes when we're over the Taku Inlet. Here's Salisbury. There's a little cut you can see here to the left. That is called Cooper Cut, and that is a one-way cut. So northbound traffic only. So you can go through that cut if you're going upriver, but not coming down southbound. Really important that airplanes, the wings, they love to use that cut there. We can use it as well. Just make your call, and who knows, people might not always abide by that, so don't just expect that people are only going northbound through that. So this was Salisbury and Salisbury Point. The next ridgeline here is Bishop and Bishop Point here. The point kind of goes right up, points up Lynn Canal. It's one of the ways I know. This is called the West Terminal, actually. And then across the way is the East Terminal. There's a little power lines that go right underneath the channel here, right underneath the inlet that go to the Snettisham Hydroelectric power plant. So here we make another call that we're Bishop for Cooper. This is Cooper Ridge, Cooper Point. A little memory aid I have is Seattle's Best Coffee. So we have Salisbury, Bishop, Cooper. Just a little memory aid to remember the order of the ridges and the names of them. And we're just going to keep 2,500. So that's the altitude we're going to pick right now for going upriver. Coming around Cooper here, we're going to start to make our way towards Annex Lake and the Annex Hydroelectric Power Plant, which is right up that valley right there. This will keep us away from the wings traffic and airplane traffic going into the Taku Lodge. They're going to be kind of over on this right side usually. This point right here is called Jaws. And this cove right in here is called Sunny Cove. So we'll make another call that we are coming around Cooper, 2,500 for Sunny Cove. And if you're over the water, you can add into your radio call that your feet wet. If you're up against the land side, you could say feet dry. That's just an extra little tidbit to let them know if you're kind of hanging out close to the land or over the water. A lot of times the route is more of a mixed route. It's not long, it's not short, it's in between. So maybe we could go through here expecting going around the long route all the way up the Taku or all the way up the Norris Glacier, but then we get to here and we see we can make it through Annex into Glory and then up the Norris to save time, so that would be just fine. So you could go up through there if you want to. Otherwise, we're going to say today that we have to go all the way around and do the full long route. So that's the Annex Lakes there. And again, there's a little pipe that goes underneath the lake. It comes right down here to a little old hydroelectric power plant that's built back in the early 1900s. So here we make our call that we are Sunny Cove, 2,500 for flats. This little ridge line coming out here is called flats. So there's the Taku off in the distance. This is flats right here. You start to make out a grizzly bar there, so we can make another call that we are flats for the Norse, or Norse Lake. We're just basically going to come around the corner here and then make our way up the Norse Glacier and then land at the dog camp there next to Guardian. And this all should be pretty familiar from this point on. There is another little piece of land that you can't see in the simulator that's right in front of the middle toe of the Taku, and we call that a picnic table. So you can see we're just gonna make our way up the right side here, the north, and then land at the dog camp right there. Keep an eye out up Glory here to make sure that no one's coming out of there. Here we can say that we are over Norse Lake, or you can say the toe of the Norse for the base of Guardian, our dog camp. Good time to ask for the manifest, and then switch over to dog frequency. There's Una Lake again. This ridgeline here separates the Norse and the middle branch. There's a little saddle in between there. We call that the back door. And we can just see the base of Guardian there. Looks like plenty of good enough weather here to land there at the dog camp right there. And we'll land here at dog camp and shut her down. And on the way back, you're just gonna reverse exactly what you did coming up. Just everything in reverse order. When you get to the channel, you'll be flying on the right side of the channel. So on the Juneau side instead of the Douglas side. So you'll come around Salisbury, make a call at DuPont for the rock dump, and then rock dump for the Juneau Douglas Bridge. Call the tower at the Juneau Douglas Bridge, and then descend for the Aero base. And I'm going to go ahead and land here and end the flight. Thanks for flying with me.